Well, it's great to have everybody on the hilltop. I hope you're glad to be here. Isn't it great to be a Mustang? It's a very important announcement that's going to be made today, and it's my privilege to welcome you. My name is Brad Cheeves, and I have the opportunity and privilege to serve as Vice President for Development and External Affairs here at SMU. First, begin by recognizing those here at the platform. First, the Director of Athletics, Rick Hart. Our 10th president of SMU, Dr. R. Gerald Turner, and the man you'll meet in just a moment with a formal introduction, Travis Mays. Let's welcome our platform. These are great days for SMU, and this is going to add to another great element of our university. And to tell us more about that, the man at the helm, the 10th president of SMU, Dr. R. Gerald Turner.
Thank you, Brad, and thank all of you for coming out on a Friday afternoon. And when you have great announcements, it's good whether it's Friday afternoon or Monday morning. So we're glad to have all of you here. As we began this search, obviously everyone knows the tremendous record that Rhonda Rumpola has had here over all of these years, and the identification of the women's basketball program here with her. But everyone also had plenty of advice as to who might be the best person to follow her. We had that same opportunity last year in football when we were starting a search, and everyone kept bringing up a name of somebody who was ready to be a head coach, had done all kinds of things, and would bring enthusiasm and a great deal of expertise to our football program. I told Rick, I said, this is almost deja vu all over again, because as we go through this and as we look at all of the comments that we're getting and people talking about who is the associate head coach in the country that everyone believes is the next great head coach. One name kept coming up over and over and over again, much like it had happened when we were looking for Chad Morris. And so to have an opportunity to talk to that individual and then have the chance to introduce him a little later in this program as our new head coach was just tremendous. Obviously, he played here. It looks a little different now, and I think he'll find that the spirit is tremendous as we go about providing support for the women's basketball program. It has a long tradition, and I know he will build upon it as he goes along. But to introduce him and whatever else he might want to say is our athletic director, Rick Hart. Join me in bringing forward Rick Hart.
Well, good afternoon. We're here to celebrate women's basketball today, but first I just heard Bryson DeChambeau is in second place. So, how about that? So I know we'll all want to follow, hopefully we'll be able to follow Bryson through the weekend at the Masters. But again, welcome. I want to thank, first I've got some people to thank, because as you all know, when you go through a search process, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of people involved. I just happen to be the one that gets a seat and a spot at the podium. So first of all, again, President Turner and the University Administration for their support, not just of this search and of our women's basketball program, but of our athletics program and of the advocacy in terms of the importance of our place in a university community. We're grateful for that. Also, the search committee, which was comprised of Paul Rogers, Ryan McCabe, and Kevin White. There were also a number of university faculty, staff, and athletics department staff members who dedicated their time and feedback to this process, and that was extremely valuable. I know at a busy time of year, so I would like to thank them, many of whom are in attendance I see today. And then in particular, Coach Brown and Coach Jankovic, because the relationship between men's and women's basketball is very important. And for them to take, again, time out of their schedules and to help not only interview and spend some time with these candidates, but to help us recruit them was a big deal, because as President Turner said, there was a lot of interest in this opportunity, and we wanted to make sure that we took advantage of that. And then a very special thanks to Monique Holland. Monique really ran this search with some assistance from Collegiate Sports Associates and Todd Turner, but Monique ran the search. She's the one who brought to campus just an excellent, impeccable, unbelievable collection of of the best in the country, and then put us in a position to attract Coach Mays here to the Hilltop. So Monique, thank you very much for your leadership in this process. A special thanks to our student athletes who are here today. Thank you for your patience and for your belief that we would bring the right and the best coach to help mold you and shape you during your remaining years on our campus. Thank you very much. And to our women's basketball coaches and staff who stayed and remained dedicated to these young women through this transition process. I want to thank them as well. And then finally, I want to offer a special thanks to Morella and Sherelle and Trevor, Coach May's family, who actually were on vacation. They left for vacation yesterday morning. And when I called Coach Mays, they were on the shuttle to the hotel. And I said, well, Coach Mays, why don't you call us when you get to a place you can talk? He said he was about to lose it on the shuttle. And but they'll head back tonight and resume a little bit of family time. Trevor, your dad will get in the pool with you, I promise, okay? But thank you all as well for being here today, and welcome to the SMU family. So right now I want to take a moment to introduce a leader who, again, as President Turner alluded to, everyone I spoke with, not just in his direct coaching circle, but everyone throughout the country. We did a lot of research. You know, some common themes with Coach Mays. First and foremost, his character. You know, everybody talked about the type of man, husband, father he is, and that he's been that way since his playing days at UT. You know, secondly, his work ethic, and that's what really came through when I was with Travis as well. Is he has a will to succeed. You know, he has a will. He is not going to fail. He's going to pour every ounce of himself into this program and into these young women, and that's important. And then he challenged me, and I don't know how we're going to settle this, but he said he was the most competitive person around, and I told him maybe next to me, but he's a competitor. He's a competitor. And the relationships that he builds with his coaches and his student athletes and his fellow coaches, Coach Morris is here, and we appreciate that. We saw Coach Seifert earlier, but that's important because now he's a part of our family. And I know all of our coaches and staff are going to enjoy working with him, and he's going to help all of us get better. So this time I'd like to introduce to you the head women's basketball coach at SMU, Coach Travis Mays.
Thank you. First of all, good afternoon, Mustang family. Let me say this. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm extremely excited, not only for myself, but for my entire family, for this tremendous opportunity. And I have to thank Dr. Turner, Rick Hart, Monique, for all your hard work and just believing in me, giving me this tremendous opportunity. But I also have to thank the entire support staff and everybody that was part of the selection and interviewing me when I first came to campus. After I started to speak with some of the support staff and I could feel some of that passion just pouring out of them, it just increased my desire to want to be here even more, even though I looked at it as an opportunity, but then I looked at it part of being able to give something to some people that felt strongly about what they do, and I always feel very, very strongly about what it is that I do. I know it's an investment. Ladies, I know what you do is an investment. And I'm going to work beside you and work just as hard to get it, whatever it is that you want. That's just how I'm built. Secondly, I have to just go right into it and thank all of my mentors. I have to go all the way back to my high school coach, Jim Haley, who believed in me, instilled some values in me, how to carry myself, how to treat other people right, how to say thank you. And he would open up the gym to just let me in to keep me off of the streets. He instilled something in me that I think is probably the reason that I wanted to become a coach. What he did for me, if I can do it for one or two young ladies, I just think it's extremely priceless. And that's one of the reasons that I coach. But I have to go on and talk about also not only the coaches that coached me, they're the ones that taught me. Jody Conrad at the collegiate level gave me my first opportunity, legendary coach. Asked me would I come back to my alma mater and help her with her program. I was floored at first And then I was honored to have that opportunity to coach under an unbelievable coach. And then I got the opportunity after she resigned to work for another Hall of Fame coach, which is Van Chancellor. We went to the Final Four with LSU there. And then after Van Chancellor resigned, I went and I worked for Andy Landis. Let me get one thing straight. Don't think I fire coaches now. Okay? And Andy Landis was tremendous. And I had watched him after competing with him for so many years. I think he was, because he's no longer coaching now, but one of the hardest working head coaches in the profession. So I learned so much from so many coaches, and also with Karen Aston, who, after 1 year at the University of Georgia, she gave me an opportunity to come back to the University of Texas to rebuild Texas to back on the national stage, and I think we've done that. But she's a tremendous worker, incredible recruiter, and I learned so much, and I don't put them in order. They just came in the order in which I named them, but they all have been tremendous and helping me become the coach that I am today. And I think I'm going to take a little bit from all of them. And ladies, I think I'm going to give you a little bit of all of them. So what you hear may not only be Coach Travis, but it's going to be all my former coaches and mentors. Thirdly, I would like to say to Coach Rhonda Rompoli, did I pronounce that? Rompola? Okay, I don't want to mess that up. For what she's already done for this program. Her tradition here, I just want to be a part of a staff that builds on that tradition. If anybody can work anywhere for 25 years, that's a tremendous thing. I hope I'm here for 25 years. Y'all hear that? I hope I'm here for 25 years. I hope you are. I'm going to say this to the entire community of Dallas. I'm here. I'm planning on being involved. I just like to insert myself in the community. I like to insert myself. My family is here with me today, and I'm a family guy. I'm a friendly guy. I joke a lot, so media, y'all get used to that. I'm going to tell a lot of jokes. Girls get used to that. I told you earlier that I do a lot of joking, but I take my job very, very seriously. I am extremely proud to represent SMU. Every opportunity that I get, I take it, and I'm extremely appreciative of that opportunity, so I'm going to do the best job that I could do. But ladies, I'm going to tell you this right now. We're going to have some fun. We're going to win some games. You're going to have a great college experience, because I think it starts from the head. I promise you, I think your college experience is one of the most important things to you and probably to your family. So I want to make sure that becomes something that's valuable and something that's going to want to make you come back here for years to come, because I want your story to be told to the young ladies that come here that follows you. All righty? And once again, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. We're going to begin an opportunity for media avail, and so we'll start with Chuck Carlton from the Dallas Morning News, and then at the appropriate time, Brad Sutton will conclude our media avail, and then a short presentation by Rick Hart.
Travis, we heard from Dr. Turner about how you were a name that stood out, much as Chad Morris did in their football search. We heard about you talking about the interview process, but exactly when and how did you realize that SMU was the right fit for you for your first head coaching job?
Well, when you're looking for your first head coaching job and you walk on campus, I'm going to go back and I'm going to start with the conversation that I had initially with Monique. Extremely genuine, sincere, passionate, and when she started to describe her athletic director, who I hadn't met at the time, and she described him with so much passion, and Rick, I think I shared the story with you, she described him with so much passion, it just was something that I could relate to. Because if you light up when you talk about the person that you're working with as much as she did, I felt that could be something that I wanted to be a part of, because I think it's priceless. And then once I got to campus and I got to meet everybody, as I mentioned earlier, I met the support staff and all the people who were involved in the interviewing process. They interviewed for about 12 straight hours. I just want to let y'all know that. But also that made me think that they wanted to be extremely thorough and make the right decision. So at that time, once I came to campus and I felt the vibe and the passion and the love from the staff, it was a no-brainer for me. I just had to try to convince them that I was the right person, and trust me, when I get my last person that I spoke with was Rick. I tried to convince him as hard as I could.
Coach, how quickly can you put together a coaching staff? Do you already have a short list in mind? And what are you looking for in your assistants?
Well, I would say this. I have received, since the call I got from Rick and Monique yesterday, I probably have about 40 to 50 resumes. So I don't know if you would call that a short list. But I will say this. I'm going to take as much time as I need to pick the right staff, because I know how important it is for the young lady sitting over here. I want a staff that comes with high character, high integrity, family first, with a lot of skills for its life development skills, but also teachers of the game. I want them to be able to be complete, so when the young ladies need something, they know that they have it right here, and they don't have to go anywhere to find it elsewhere.
Coach, you talked about getting yourself involved in the community around here and in Dallas. What specifically do you want to do, especially now, right away, just getting the job?
Well, first of all, I want not only myself, but I want all of our ladies and everybody that's involved, and my staff, to get involved in the community, because I think when people become familiar with you, who you are as a person, not just a name, I think that builds the beginning of the relationship. And I think the relationship is the thing that I think is going to be the most important for us to get out into the community and make sure they know us. So I think that would bring and help bring us support. So any form and any fashion in which I can get that, that's how I will be involved in the community.
Coach, how do you balance putting together your staff with jumping in on the recruiting trail with signing coming up next week?
I don't think you ever balance it. You just have to do it. No, I'm just kidding. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, it just takes time. But you'd be surprised how likes attract. Good people attract good people. High character people attract high character people. Hard-working people attract hard-working people. So that won't be, they sometimes find you. And this process to me has been lined up. I think God has just aligned so many things for me that I couldn't have possibly put together. So I think he's going to continue to do what he's doing. He's going to help me put this wonderful staff together.
Travis, what's your philosophy on recruiting, whether it's state of Texas or DFW? I mean, is there particular areas to go and target? Obviously, a ton of talent right here in the Metroplex.
There's a ton of talent right here in the Metroplex, but there's a ton of talent right here in the state of Texas. So my philosophy is pretty much how I recruit and trying to hire my staff. I want high character kids. I want kids who's going to do the right thing. Young ladies, I don't want to call you kids, let me apologize. Young ladies who wants to do the right things, and young ladies who want to be a part of something special. And that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Sometimes you have to get in the gyms, you have to build a relationship with high school coaches, AAU coaches, and find out what's the true character of the kids, because the athleticism and what's between the lines can fool you. And they may not fit. I want every young lady that we bring here on SMU campus, I want them to fit. I want them to fit what our vision is, and I want them to know that it's not the coaches who are the only ones have to commit, but they have to invest too. It becomes your responsibility at some point. And I want them to own that responsibility day one when they walk on campus.
You mentioned some of the coaches that you've had the opportunity to coach under prior to this. What do you anticipate the biggest challenges being as you move from assistant and associate head coach to being the head coach of your first program?
If you call Karen Ashton right now, she'll tell you I acted as if I was the head coach the entire time I was there. So we was arguing and going back and forth as if I was telling her what to do sometime. I think the biggest adjustment is going to be the fact that everything stops with you. I could shout and yell and go back and forth with Coach Ashton all I wanted to, but she made the final decisions. And once the final decision was made, that rested on her shoulders, whether they was good or bad. That's not really an adjustment, so I don't know if I'm answering your question, but that's going to be the difference, because the work is there. The relationships is there. Basketball is not the hardest piece to this. It's the fact that whether or not I can build trust with these young ladies and get them to max out with their ability. And once I do that, they'll do most of my recruiting for me.
Got time for one more?
Travis, I was just curious, how familiar, obviously very young team this past year, a lot of returnees. How familiar are you with the personnel, with the talent? And I guess going forward, what in your mind is a reasonable expectation for your first season?
Well, reasonable, familiar, I would say I've watched film. I watched about 8 games because I wanted to see how the young ladies played at the beginning of the season, how they finished the season, at the end of the season, and what the body language was like. So I had a chance to watch it. And you can never really know, but I wanted to see the pieces that we were working with. But what I do see is I see a team that can be very special in beginning something very special. And the expectations is that, I'm gonna give you the expectations. We're gonna play extremely hard. We're gonna max out. We're going to love one another. We're going to play hard. And those are just not words that I'm saying. I'm saying this is what's going to happen. That's the type of culture that I want to create. It's not hard to do because we're going to put the time in. It's just what type of time we want to spend. And we're going to spend some quality time. And I told you in the locker room, ladies, so what I said to you, you see, I'm going to say this to everybody that's watching this. And you know, today when they put stuff on video, it's there forever, right? Because they YouTube and they pull it up about 5-10 years. So you can hold me to this. We're going to have fun, okay? What the expectations are, it's how hard you want to invest because you only get in return what it is you put into it. So I'm going to give you everything I got, and I hope to get that in return. So hopefully I answered that question.
If you guys step out front here, step out front. Yes, that's it.
There you go. You go on that side. We get you in the middle here.
First thing for the wall. Number 1, it says on the back. Okay. That's good. That concludes our time together. Coach Mays, it's great to have you. They'll be arranging some individual interviews with Brad Sutton and Coach and others. Thank you for being here. Go Mustangs.